Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game. So, check out a super fun and very weird video for you guys today, because I am playing the newly released Super Mario Bros. ROM hack Pasta La Vista. This is made by Lots of Spaghetti, and it is a maker I featured on the channel before, because their Mario Syndrome ROM hack absolutely was an 11 out of 10 when it came to weird and amazing. And the good thing is, I would say they did an even better job with the overall ROM hack formula when it comes to Pasta La Vista. And basically, the entire jumping off of this game, as far as the ROM hack is concerned, is one of the most hilarious inspirations I've ever heard. The makers basically thought to themselves, what if the game actually played and looked like the Japanese box art? Because if you don't remember, you can look an image up. The box art absolutely looks completely different than the original Super Mario Bros., so it is absolutely a total difference when you're playing this versus the original game. Before I get too far involved though, do me a huge favor, go down below, hit like and subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, we got a Patreon link down below as well. And Pasta La Vista does absolutely everything I need out of a ROM hack, nothing more and nothing less. And the base game here is still going to be Super Mario Bros., the one you know, love, and remember. So every single level is going to basically be the same. Every single secret is going to be exactly where you remember it. It is the same game, but in a completely different mushroom trippy style visual aesthetic. And that definitely, in my opinion, works for something like this. Because recently on the channel, I've been talking a lot about Super Mario Bros. Remastered, the PC port of the original game, and just how amazing that thing is, both with custom levels as well as some of the resource packs like Pastel Agony. But something like this, being a ROM hack of the Super Nintendo version of the original Super Mario Bros., basically goes in an entirely different direction using real hardware. And just so you know, this is running on real hardware right now with a flash cart, but you can run it on Mr. FPJ and software emulation as well. And it is going to have the MSU1 support, because the soundtrack is going to have a lot of amazing samples, but you'll have to wait for the soundtrack sample to hear those. But something like Pasta La Vista absolutely nails the brief when you basically think to yourself, how could I possibly make a game that everyone has played more than once before seem new and entertaining, and this one just nails it. Because that is the thing, we have hundreds upon hundreds, probably even thousands of Mario ROM hacks out there, some that create new levels and some that just basically try to make the game feel completely different. And that is something that I think is actually harder to do, make a game have the same levels but feel like a brand new experience. Because I'm sure everyone watching this video has at least played the original Super Mario Bros. Once. If you haven't, leave me a comment down below, I would be very surprised, so you know what to expect. So a ROM hack like this needs to play around with your expectations and make you think, what in the holy hell did I just see and what is coming next? And that's exactly what Pasta La Vista does. It surprises you in a game where you know what to expect, and that is definitely a hard brief to nail when it comes to the design of a game that everyone has very fond memories of, and some people have a photographic memory of, as far as how every single level plays and how every single level has their jump set up. You have to basically get up really early in the morning, for lack of a better term, to be able to make something that feels brand new and unique in a game that has been played to death. And honestly, Pasta La Vista is doing exactly that. And I will say, if you watch the channel, you know full well, and I admit it, I am a sucker for weird colors, weird aesthetics, neons, pastels, and otherwise. And I will say this game, just like the previous ROM hacks from this creator, absolutely just nails that brief. I love as you jump up and hit those blocks, eyes appear, and that mushroom looks completely different than any other mushroom you've seen in a Mario game. And as far as the Goombas here, they seem like they are grinning ear to ear, like they want Mario to stomp them. Maybe they're just having a bad day and they want to just basically be out of the fight for Bowser. Because the reality is, the #1 risk to life for the Goomba species is plumbers jumping on top of them. Because it's not like Bowser has some sort of reanimation factory, so you have to think Mario has sent tens of thousands of Goombas to the graves, leaving their entire families without a Goomba at home to take care of the little Goombas. All jokes aside, I love to get off on tangents, and it is one of those things. I always kind of wondered exactly what happens to them when they get squished. But you'll see here as we move on, this is instantaneously recognizable both as Super Mario Bros., and it feels like something you've never seen before, because it is that new and that unique. And the nice thing is, with the MSU1 support as well, you're going to get a soundtrack that sounds familiar in spots, but also does some of the strangest things you've ever heard with a Mario game, which is my segue to the first soundtrack sample, and I'll be right back with more. So I talk about playing with expectations. I don't just mean it in the visuals, I mean it in the audio as well, and that's probably not the soundtrack sample you expected to hear if you actually haven't played Pasta La Vista yet. As we move on to this next level here, World 2, 3, it plays the exact same way but looks completely different and has a slightly different vibe going on. And that is why this ROM hack exists, at least in my opinion, to just mess around with vibes. Because we've seen so much stuff come out of the universe of Mario since the first game, way back in the 80s, and people still absolutely shock me with their pure creativity. And I love the original small Mario sprite there as well. Basically looks like he got stomped on by a bigger Mario and basically shrunk down like an accordion. And I totally get it's one of those things. You might love this or you might hate this. It's going to be subjective. So leave me a comment down below and you tell me, as far as the overall art style and aesthetic, the colorways and everything else, is this something that you're into or something that you don't like? Because I feel like out of every time I talk about one of these things, 9 out of 10 people love the art style and 1 out of 10 people absolutely get angry that it even exists. Just remember, if you don't like something, you just don't need to play it. You don't need to get angry about its existence in the first place, because I see that more and more these days and it bums me out. Just remember, if it's not for you, then it just was made for somebody else. As we move into the next world here, because this is based upon the Super Nintendo version of the game and has MSU1 support as well, you're just going to be getting a way busier visual presentation and a completely different audio presentation. You'll see there the cloud in the background, that mountain, as well as that little island in the foreground, all have their own completely independent parallax layers, and it looks absolutely stunning in practice. And you'll see here the regular Goombas are back, but they still have a slightly different look to them. And that, again, is the thing about Pasta La Vista. It is constantly changing, it's constantly reinventing itself, and it makes you want to keep playing the game to see what comes next, even though I'm sure you played this game at least not once, but maybe a dozen times. One more soundtrack sample, again unexpected, and I'll be right back. So one piece of music you've probably never heard in a Mario game before, and one piece of music you've heard 100 times, but just not in that overall slowed down, kind of weird ambient jazz genre. Honestly, I'm not even sure what you would call that genre. I'm just going to call it mushroom bop. We'll have to go from there because, again, not quite sure exactly what's going on. And that is the fun thing about something like Pasta La Vista. You have no idea what's going on, but you're there for the ride. You're happy to see all the weirdness, and it makes you want to keep playing the game. And just so you know, I basically did this voice over a second time because somehow I managed to actually call this Viva La Pasta the entire way through. I think that's just because I was just thinking about some Flintstone games. I was thinking about Viva Rock Vegas, and I don't know how I screwed that up. Just a little glimpse into the background here. I finished everything and then realized I called the game the Ramdan thing the entire time. But Pasta La Vista, absolutely, just like Mario Syndrome, is a straight up weird game, but its weirdness is really what makes it so unique and so interesting. I just love stuff like this. Kind of has kind of like a vaporware aesthetic along with sort of a city pop soundtrack, as well as some really slowed down jazzier versions of the original Super Mario Bros. Soundtrack. And that just combines together to make an experience that I feel like no one's ever had before and everyone should have. Even those coins up there look completely different in all of the best ways. And it really makes me happy to see just how creative the Super Mario Bros. ROM hack community can be out there. And just so you know, this is basically just a taste of another bigger ROM hack that will be coming in the future that I'll definitely be covering on the channel. But you leave me a comment down below and you tell me what's your favorite original Super Mario Bros. ROM hack. I would be curious. This is definitely creeping up on the list, as well as Pastel Agony on the Super Mario Bros. Remastered version. But the reality is there's so many ROM hacks out there, I am sure you'll recommend something to me that'll absolutely blow me away. And as far as why there is a tiny bit of slowdown, I'm not sure on that one. This was again captured on real Super Nintendo hardware with a flash cart, so it's one of those things. Maybe it just lagged a little bit because of that MSU1 implementation. But you can play this on software emulation, you can play it on Mr. FPGA, you can play it on real hardware. The only wrong way to play the game is not play it in the first place. And hopefully you guys actually got to hear the full soundtrack samples, because I was a little bit worried about those overall clips maybe flagging, so I'll have to wait and see what you heard and what you didn't hear. But take it from me, the link to this one is down in the description below, and you can do a lot worse when it comes to Super Mario Bros. ROM hacks. This is just straight up such a weird game, and I absolutely love weird. I'm the first to admit that strange things that play with my expectations, that pivot up on the formula of what I would expect to see in new and creative ways is something I'm always going to love, but I think a lot of you love that too. So definitely check out Hasta La Vista. It is one of those games you're never quite sure what was going on when you were playing it, but you were happy to have done it, and you're always going to remember it. But short of that, I'm done. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.